Hey, welcome back everybody. Today I'm going to be making a recipe that was requested by my friend Tyler. It's chicken tikka masala. So I've never made this before. Um, I looked up a few recipes and I just combined things that I thought sounded good and what I thought seemed kind of traditional. And so we're gonna give this a shot. So chicken tikka masala, you marinate the chicken in spices and yogurt overnight. And so we're gonna start out with the marinade. So for the marinade, we need garlic, which we're gonna mince finely. We need ginger, which we're gonna go ahead and mince. You can also grate it as well. You need garam masala, turmeric, paprika, and chili powder. This is a specific chili powder. It's kashmiri, which is a mild flavor, but it gives it that really red color. Then you also need a small lemon or half of a large one and some salt. So in case, for those of you that haven't seen my video where I taught you how to peel ginger, I'm gonna go ahead and show you a really easy way to peel ginger. You just use a spoon like this. You can just get all this really papery skin off really easily, and you don't lose as much as when you cut it off. So I'm gonna go ahead and just peel my ginger, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're just gonna go ahead and mince this up really finely. You could also use a little microplane grater if you wanted to. You can also buy it already minced in the store as a paste. That'll work just as well. Ginger is really, really good for your digestion. It's great if you get motion sickness. They make little ginger like candies that you can have on hand that are low sugar but will help with nausea. It is a root, so it's kind of fibery. I like to make it into tea when I have an upset stomach. So Indian cooking uses a lot of really, really good spices for you. Cloves and cinnamon, ginger, garlic, turmeric, a lot of anti-inflammatory things, and a lot of things that are really good for your cardiovascular health. So they're just really great go-tos. If you're gonna have a natural medicine cabinet, look at Indian spices. They're so good, so good for you. I might make this in my Ninja and use the pressure cooking feature. We'll see though. I'm definitely going to be making the rice in my foodie because I just think that's so easy and it always turns out perfect. So you need about a tablespoon of finely minced ginger. You can also judge that by doing about 1 inch of the root. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. And then I have 7, it's more like 6 normal size garlic cloves. This is maybe a lot. You could probably do with just 3 or 4, but I love garlic, you guys. So I'm just going to give it a smash so that it's just that much closer to already being chopped. Just going to run my knife through it. So I am doing this the night before. I'm planning to cook this so I can let it marinate overnight. You don't have to let it marinate for that long. You could just do it for like 3 hours or so. So I'm actually going to, let's see if I can open this. This is just some coarse sea salt. And I'm going to sprinkle it on here. We're going to just smash it. This will just help break down this garlic even more, make it into a paste. If you have a garlic masher or a garlic press, you can definitely use that as well. I don't have one, so this is what we are doing. And it doesn't have to be smashed like this. You can just dice it, just mince it up, and that's fine. That's plenty. I just wanted to show y'all another technique that you can do. See, ginger doesn't really mash. So we'll just go ahead and put that to the side. Take out that piece of skin. So now I'm going to get out my chicken, and we're just using boneless, skinless chicken breasts. I usually prefer to use thighs on most everything, but everything for this recipe called for chicken breasts. They said, nope, this is definitely what you need to use. So we're going to go ahead and cube this up. We just want them to be in pretty uniform sizes so that they'll cook at the same speed. It's kind of hard when you get these long skinny pieces, but do the best you can. So marinating this in this yogurt overnight, it'll help make really juicy, tender chicken while also giving it a whole lot of flavor. So that's usually the biggest complaint with cooking with breasts, is that it gets dried out and tough. But if you marinate it or brine it, that will really help. So that looks good. Actually, before I get rid of my knife, I'm going to go ahead and, so if you roll your lemon on the counter like this, it'll just help release some of those juices. I'm going to go ahead and cut that open. I'm going to wash my hands. So we are going to go ahead and add our spices here. And that was 2 teaspoons of garam masala, 1 teaspoon of kashmiri chili powder. You can also just use regular chili powder or some cayenne mixed with paprika. I had 1 teaspoon of regular paprika and half a teaspoon of turmeric. And that's it's like 6 cloves of garlic and 1 inch of ginger minced. Then I have 1 cup of plain Greek yogurt. This is homemade Greek yogurt, but just use whatever you can get in the store. I always try to go with organic. Just make sure it has no sugar or flavor in it. And you could use regular yogurt too, it doesn't have to be Greek. And the juice of 1 small lemon or half of 1 large. If your lemon's kind of dry, if you can feel like that it's really hard when you're trying to cut it or whenever you're trying to roll it, you can stick it in the microwave for just a couple of seconds, and that'll help release some of those juices also. I'll brown this off after it's marinated, and then you cook it in a gravy. So it's a tomato creamy gravy with lots of these same spices. I've seen some recipes that use coconut cream in the gravy and some use heavy cream. I'm using coconut cream because I try to avoid dairy as much as possible. That's one reason why I use Greek yogurt instead of regular yogurt, is that by the time it's incubated long enough to become Greek yogurt, it's pretty much, there's no lactose left. I'm not lactose intolerant, but it is hard for humans to break down the proteins in cow milk. They're just really large proteins and our bodies aren't designed to break it down. That's why a lot of people have issues with dairy, even if they aren't lactose intolerant. We aren't really designed for consumption of cow milk. Goat milk, on the other hand, they have tiny proteins, and they're actually considered the universal milk for mammals. So if you're ever raising any kind of baby animals that you found or you're rehabilitating or anything like that, any mammal really can drink goat milk, and it'll be really nutritious for them and they'll be able to digest it. Okay, so that's well incorporated now. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll cover this with plastic wrap and let it sit in the refrigerator until we're ready to cook it tomorrow. I'll see y'all in a little bit. Well, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Hey everybody, welcome back. So it's been almost 24 hours since I saw you last night and we made the marinade for our chicken. So this has been in the refrigerator since then and it's ready to come out and be cooked. So we're going to go ahead and get prepared for cooking the gravy. So for the gravy we need 1 large onion finely diced. So I've already done half here. And then I just wanted to show you how I dice this. So if you see, I left the root intact here, and that'll help hold it all together. Sorry it cut off. Hopefully you didn't miss much. But now that we've done our fan slice, which is just cutting from the root to the center point up here, all the way across, we're going to do a really thin slice across. Once you get to the end here, just chop around. And as you can see, you get this really nice fine dice. So I have that all diced up, and then I have 6 cloves of garlic here that I've diced, and I have 1 teaspoon of garam masala, 1 teaspoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of coriander, half a teaspoon of turmeric, and half a teaspoon of cayenne. And the gravy will also have the kashmiri chili powder in it as well. But these we're going to toast in oil with, once we've cooked the onions and the ginger and garlic. But we don't want to cook the kashmiri because it'll get brown, and we want it to stay that really bright red color. So now we need ginger, and I showed y'all last night how to dice it. Now I'm going to show you how you can grate it, which is really a very easy way to do ginger, especially if you have so much ginger that you put it in the freezer, because that's a really good way to save it if you aren't going to use it all at once. So then you can just take your chunk out and grate it, and you don't have to like wait for it to thaw out, because it's really hard to dice when it's frozen. So we need about a tablespoon of grated ginger. That looks good. Get all that goodness off. Okay. So we have all of this ready, and I've also gone ahead and rinsed 2 cups of basmati rice, and I've added 2 cups of chicken broth to this, along with a couple tablespoons of oil. And I'm cooking this in my foodie just because I think that's the easiest way to cook rice. I'm going to stick it in, add 1 cup of cold water, put the pressure lid on, and cook it for 7 minutes, and then let it naturally release for 10 minutes, and it'll be done. So I'm going to go ahead and get this started, and then we'll get working on cooking the chicken, which we're going to brown off on the stove. Okay, so I've got some oil and butter melted here, and my stove is on medium-high. So I'm just going to go ahead and start adding the chicken, which we're going to brown off. That'll just help give it some extra flavor. So you want to make sure that you get that good sizzle when you put your meat in. And we're going to do this in batches because we don't want to overcrowd the pan. Okay. So we're just trying to get a little color on this. We don't need it to be done. It's going to cook more in the sauce later. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and try to scrape up the bottom here. Get all those yummy brown bits up. That's just really good flavor. And I'm going to add the onion. Okay, and we're going to let these sweat out for a little bit before we add the ginger and garlic because they won't take as long. You can see that beautiful color that they're already getting from the brown bits that were on the pan. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add the ginger and the garlic. We're going to let these go for just a couple of minutes just to let them get fragrant. These will burn really quickly, and if garlic burns, it gets really, really bitter, and it'll actually contaminate your whole pot. The pan will taste like bitter garlic. You'll have to wash your pan and start over. That smells good. So I'm going to go ahead and add these spices, which is the garam masala, the cumin, the coriander, turmeric, and cayenne. And we're going to let the oils kind of develop here and let the flavors come out a little bit more. Traditional Indian cooking, they tend to toast the spices. It just really helps develop the flavor better. So a lot of people just will add spices into a sauce or into a soup, but they really like to cook it a little bit in oil first. And it gives it a really rich, deep flavor. Nutty flavor almost. That looks good. We don't want it to burn. So I'm going to go ahead and add 2 cups of tomato sauce. And we're going to turn this down. Alright, so since this has calmed down a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and turn the heat back on to low, and we're going to let it just kind of cook down a little bit. Okay, so we've got this on a low simmer. I'm going to go ahead and add some salt and pepper. Oh my gosh, you can see how far it splattered. It got on my pepper shaker. It's on my backsplash. Oh man. So we don't need much pepper since we have chili powder and cayenne in there. And I'm going to add about a teaspoon of salt. And I'll taste this in a little bit and see how it tastes. I'm going to go ahead and add the tablespoon of kashmiri chili powder that we were waiting to add. Not tablespoon, I'm sorry, teaspoon. So this is mostly for color. And I'll link below where you can get it on Amazon. You can probably find it at an Asian supermarket. But if you can't find it and you don't want to buy it, don't worry about it. You can use cayenne and paprika as a substitute. Actually, I'm probably going to add some more. Yeah, so I'll cook this down and I'll add probably another teaspoon of that. It's a very mild flavor, like I said. It's mostly for color. So I'm going to go ahead and add the chicken back in so it can be cooking. And get all these good juices out. It's all nestled down in here. Oh my gosh, this smells so, so good. And lastly, I have a cup of coconut cream. You can use heavy cream if you would like. I'm trying to avoid dairy, so I'm using full fat coconut cream. Just Look at that beautiful, beautiful color. Okay, wow, that's gorgeous. So I'm gonna go ahead and add just a little bit more of this Kashmiri chili powder, just for a little bit more of the red color. My battery is dying, so if I lose you guys, we're just gonna let this simmer and get it all plated up. Okay guys, so I let it simmer for about 10 minutes on the stove on low, and I plated it up here with my basmati rice and a little bit of chopped cilantro. So let's go ahead and give it a try. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. Can y'all see that? Mm. Oh my goodness. The chicken's so tender. And all those spices. It's not hot in any way. Like I said, that chili powder is really mild. It just has a ton of flavor. And you get that zing from the lemon that it marinated in. Mm. This is some really good traditional, I hope it's traditional, Indian comfort food. So I hope y'all enjoy this. Tyler, I hope you make it. If you do, let me know how you like it and let me know what you want me to make next. Thanks, guys.